Welcome. In this video, we'll be solving this problem, which states a model rocket is launched straight up. Its altitude is y of t equals b times t minus c times t squared, where b equals 72 meters per second and c equals 4.9 meters per second squared. We have two tasks. A, find the rocket's velocity as a function of time. B, when is the velocity zero? And we'll be using the idea problem-solving format to find the answers.
With God's help, you can do physics.
A
boss, as you are created.
You are created in God's image.
To be fruitful and multiply.
Fill the earth and subdue.
Do it.
The first step in the idea problem-solving format is to interpret, which typically involves drawing some sort of sketch. Simple, but accurate. We're launching a rocket upward from the ground. It's going to go up, 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 and at some point turn around and come down. We are given the equation for the position as a function of time equals bt minus ct squared. The position is y, so we're going to have this be our y-axis with the positive direction going up. And we're told that b is equal to 72 meters per second and c is equal to 4.9 meters per second squared. What is the basic principle we're using here? Well, it's the relationship between position and velocity. And we can state that as the definition of velocity. Which is the derivative of position with respect to time. The second step of our problem-solving format is to develop our problem. God has crowned you with glory and honor.
Honor to rule over His creation.
That means we're going to make a plan for how we are going to use what we're given and the principles of physics to get what is required. So the first thing we're going to do is compute that velocity, which is going to be the derivative of the position with respect to time. And next we're going to, that will give us, actually part A, the expression for velocity as a function of time. Then we're going to set that velocity equal to 0, because that was part B, when is the velocity 0? And we're going to solve that for time, leaving it, as an expression of t, and finally, we're going to substitute in our values for b and c and compute the answer. And then we're going to check our answer, but that's the last step of the problem-solving format. So the next step is execute, execute, execute. Science is a gift from God
to help us master nature,
but sin added thorns and thistles,
requiring the sweat of your brow to succeed.
Okay, so we'll start again with our relationship. Y of t equals bt minus ct squared. The derivative of y of t with respect to time is the definition of velocity with respect to time. And that's going to be equal to b minus 2ct. So this is our answer to part A as was requested. All right, so part B asks, well, at what time does that velocity equal to 0? And so now we will substitute in 0 equals b minus 2ct. If we do some arithmetic and solve that for t, we have t equals minus b over minus 2c, or just b over 2c. Now we can substitute in the values that we've been given. 72 meters per second, make sure you include the units, over 2 times 4.9 meters per second squared. Learning physics
often requires prayer
as we submit
to Jesus Christ
as risen
King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
And that is going to compute with your calculator, or your head if you're really good. I'm not that good. And we're going to compute that to be equal to 7.3469 seconds. And the other units cancel out. So then, that's too many significant digits, because if we go back and check at the beginning, we are given one significant digit or two significant digits here in these expressions, and so we're going to report our answer as 7.3 seconds. That's going to be the answer to part B. So are we done? Well, not quite. We have one more step, right? We have the A step, which is assess. What does that mean? It means check your work. There's different ways to do it, but it's basically looking for a reality check or a second computation to make sure that you haven't made some kind of obvious mistake. We reign by surrender.
We reign by surrendering to Jesus and praying for our daily bread, which includes success
In our schoolwork.
God will answer and lighten our yoke and the impact of the thorns and thistles in our labor.
So if we have y of t, and now we'll go ahead and substitute in our initial values, 72 meters per second times time minus 4.9 meters per second squared times time. And we've got a velocity here, and we've got a velocity here, because time will be in seconds, so the units check out. And then if we substitute in the time that we computed, we get a max height of approximately, since I did round off there, 264 feet. And just as a reality check, does that make sense for something that was launched at 72 meters per second? Oh, I said feet, sorry. Should be 264 meters, launched at 72 meters per second. And you know, that makes sense. You don't want a number close to zero here. You don't want a negative number, because if you had a negative number, that means you've probably left out that factor of 2 right there, just saying. So we have completed this problem, and I hope to see you next time.
Written in the Word, in the good, good Word, is a message from our God, gonna tell you all about how to get to the kingdom. Good life. Written in the Word, in the good, good Word, is a message from our God, gonna tell you all about how to get to the kingdom. The good life. Oh, I love Jesus. La 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 la.